Alrighty, spoiler alert. If you haven't completed the game or done Robin's part, turn back now. If you haven't cured the Leviathan, don't read it. But I want to play this voice clip. And this is what plays after you find the cure and you magically inject it. I've already been over this in other videos. It doesn't make sense, but let's all pretend this all makes sense. This is what plays.
I believe the antibacterial agent was effective. Without it, the bacteria could have spread. Now it cannot. Your sister's memory will live in you through this gesture.
Feels good. Doing this one last thing for Sam. I feel like I got some closure.
My people do not experience endings as you do. Do humans feel joy in realizing that you've reached the end of something?
Sometimes. Closure is a sense of resolution, like knowing that even though it still hurts, it'll be okay. I did what I came to do. I found out what really happened to her, and I got to finish her work. I learned a little bit more about the person I've looked up to for, well, my whole life. I wish I told her that more. Sam always wanted to make a difference. She wanted the bacteria contained to keep everyone safe. I'm grateful to give her that. I just wish I could have said goodbye.
All right. Now, I'm talking to unknown worlds just as much as I'm talking to each one of you watching this video. First off, Alan's response. He believes the antibacterial agent was effective. Without it, the bacteria could have spread. No, it couldn't have spread. The bacteria could not have spread. Maybe if Altera mutated and weaponized it. But, Alan, where's the bacteria going to go? Because it goes anywhere outside of this frozen, contained environment, which was the chunk of ice. The ice was acting as a barrier from the outside environment. Once you excavate this Leviathan corpse, it becomes exposed to the native enzyme 42 that is now all throughout the planet's environment. Under no circumstances is the bacteria going to spread. It doesn't make sense. The juvenile Leviathans have released their young, strong, and virile strain of enzyme 42 into the system. It's what cured the Kara in the first place. You expose this Kara to the environment, enzyme 42 kicks its ass. So there's no spreading to be made. The only threat that was made was, oh no, Altera's going to weaponize it. Well, Altera didn't weaponize it. So Alan's supposed to be the smart alien, but he's being written by dumb assholes. Your sister's memory will live in you through this gesture. That's kind of strange. Sam could have did what I just did. Put the antidote in that little machine and have it injected. Why didn't Sam do it? Robin says, it feels good doing this one last thing for Sam. I feel like I got some closure. Really? This whole game is about put this tube inside this robot and push this one button. Why didn't Sam do it? That's really weird. Oh boy. And then Robin's final remark. Sometimes. Oh man. And you heard the way she said, it feels good. Yeah, it feels good. Fuck Parvan. Fuck Altera. Fuck everyone else. Fuck everyone, that didn't agree with me or my sister. Sometimes closure is a sense of resolution. What kind of closure did you get, Robin? Robin came here thinking Altera killed her sister and she killed herself. And the way that she reacts is complete ludonarrative dissonance. It's completely... It makes no sense.
Like, fluid intake.
Shut the fuck up, PDA. Jesus Christ. Like, knowing that even though it still hurts, it'll be okay. I came what I did to do. I found out what really happened to her and I got to finish her work. Her work? She didn't do anything. The enzyme was already created. Riley did all the work. All she did was scoop up some goop and put it in a container and throw it in a cave and then killed herself and one other person. She didn't do shit. She didn't get anything done. All she did was murder people. Oh, and look, here's the Leviathan right here. There's a PDA earlier in this game from Zeta. Zeta was in here before we were. If they were researching the Kara and Maida blew up Omega Labs, guess what? That's going to mean that they need more samples. So when Zeta came here, after Sam blew herself and Parvan up and caused a cave-in, they used prawn suits to clear the way, get back in the cave, and Zeta made a report, left a PDA, and took a fresh sample of Kara. She didn't do anything. I learned a little more about the person I've looked up to for my whole life. Yeah, you learn she's a terrorist. You learn she resorted to violence and blowing shit up. Sam always wanted to make a difference. She wanted the bacteria contained. So why didn't she cure the bacteria? To keep everyone safe. What do you mean to keep everyone safe? Enzyme 42 is keeping everyone safe. And she's grateful to her sister for murdering people. This is awful. This is the Last of Us 2 levels of complete fucking nonsense. It's not just a bad story that I don't like and I don't agree with it. From a narrative perspective, it's inconsistent. It doesn't even matter whether you like it or not. It doesn't make fucking sense. And when you retcon something, you change what happened previously to where something different happened. But the retcon, still, it has to make sense. And you've not made any effort to justify the retcons. How is Maida alive? You retcon the events to where she didn't die, but how do you explain it? I could go down a list of reasons why Maida should be dead, but the most obvious one is the Kara. How could she survive the Kara before Riley came and cured it? You made no attempts to justify it. There's no mutation, there's no mutagenitive weaponized experiments.
Seek fluid intake immediately.
Oh, Jesus. I really hate the PDA. Like it's a passion. Like it's a violent passion. It's not just a bad story, it's a terrible story. I've been making Let's Talk videos for quite some time, trying to explain, hey, these are issues, you need to work on these issues, you need to fix them.
Stabilizing.
And all this time, y'all haven't. You don't think this is a problem? Alrighty. This is going to hit 1.0, and people are going to be playing your game, and they're going to be loving it at first. They're going to be loving it like I did. Subnautica version 2. It's the next Subnautica. It's more Subnautica. Everyone's going to be happy when they start off. You got a whole bunch of people so excited. They bought it when it first came out. They've been holding off, and oh man, they can't wait to play, and they haven't even been on the forums. They don't want to spoil it for themselves. Oh, they're in for a big disappointment. And if it's not the small size, if it's not the small map, if it's not the Cyclops being gone, if it's not the Seamoth being gone, if it's not Snow Fox being a piece of shit, if it's not all the other reasons they're going to hate your game or dislike it, it's going to be because the story is so fucking confusing. And the story is probably one of the easiest things to change. It's literal text. And, man, This is the hardest part of the whole game for me, was being in this cave and that conversation with Alan after curing the Kara. That just really, that was the deal breaker. I could sit here and negotiate the pros and cons and the flaws and the benefits, and oh man, I've had fun in this game. I found ways to have fun. You can ignore the story up to a certain point. And something that I read from Ignis confirmed what Catalyst said. You could skip this whole part. You don't even got to come on land. You don't even got to do anything for Maida. All you got to do is get Alan, find his body parts, build his body, and then go to the end of the game. That's it. You can beat the game, and that ignores the whole point of being here. It's... oh man. Oh man. Y'all massacred my game. You massacred his game and her game and our game. Shit.